and she's been here for the past 2 years. So that's how much she loves Kigali. So please give a warm welcome to Gaia. Thank you.
My story starts here, in 2005, in a tsunami-affected village in Cuddalore, India. I was 19 and I had just taken time off from college to do tsunami relief work. So there I was amongst thousands of people who had just had their lives washed away in 3 big waves. People not only lost their livelihoods and family members, but they also lost their homes and all of their possessions. The local NGO I was working with was focused on rebuilding homes for victims. So I had the privilege of watching the transformation from temporary tent to permanent home again. It was amazing to watch as you saw people putting down new rugs and wall decor and starting to invest in more things for their home. It was so clear that they weren't just rebuilding their homes, but they were really rebuilding their lives. Living somewhere comfortable where you can feel safe and secure is incredibly important to our well-being and quality of life. Home is powerful. Think about the last time that you moved into a new place and how that felt. Think about how it feels to leave a place that you've been in for a long time. What's the last thing that you bought for your home to make it either more comfortable or more beautiful? This is where my appreciation for how important living conditions started. Fast forward 9 years, and I'm a student at Stanford Business School in a class called Design for Extreme Affordability. As part of the class, various partner organizations would give us design challenges that we could pick from. So when the Mass Design Group, based here in Kigali, gave us the challenge of finding a way to make homes healthier, I jumped at the opportunity. A key tenet of the class is empathy. So during spring break, for 2 weeks, we came to Kigali, came to Rwanda, and spent most of our time with people in their homes, really trying to understand, to learn, and to empathize. Here's one woman that we met on a rainy afternoon in Nyanza. We learned that she and her family spent over 60% of their day at home, but she hated her home. She talked about how it was cold, how it was wet, how it was dark, and how she really didn't have any means to improve it. And that's when we realized it's not just that, it's sure that her poverty is what's causing her to have a low-quality home, but her low-quality home makes her feel poor. And that really matters. Not feeling like you have the means to improve your life and to improve the place where your children spend so many hours makes a huge impact in how you feel. One of her biggest challenges, as you can kind of see, were big puddles of mud on her floor. Now, when you think of the ground, basically everybody lives on the ground, unless you're constantly scuba diving or Superman. But for everybody else, we live on the ground, and it's where people meet the planet. It's also the place that has bacteria, that generates dust, and that can have a lot of insects. So people in wealthier countries with more money put down a floor to protect themselves. Now, most of us here probably haven't really thought much about our floor as a thing, other than, whether it be tiles or wood or faux wood tiles. But that's not the case in Rwanda, where 90% of people in rural areas live and sleep on dirt. And this is a huge problem. It's been shown by a study that replacing a dirt floor with cement reduces diarrhea by 49% and parasitic infections by 78%. This is mind-blowing, and these statistics actually kind of make sense when you think about it, because I constantly see adolescent girls sweeping dirt floors to try to make them cleaner, which generates these huge dust clouds, which causes people to cough, and that will cause respiratory disease. Or babies who don't have diapers and who are not quite potty trained, who go to the bathroom on the floor. And that's really hard to clean off a dirt floor, so it just kind of stays there. Now, most people don't really want to live on dirt. In fact, everybody that we asked said that they would love and they hope to someday have a clean, hard floor. But we learned that was a really expensive hope. It costs about $300 to pave a regular, typical 20 square meter modest home with a concrete floor. That was our aha moment. we realized we had discovered a massive unmet need that both had health consequences and also that people actually wanted, an affordable floor. So we went back to Stanford, determined to solve this floor thing. What that resulted in was tons of ideas. We iterated, we prototyped, we designed. We thought about using bamboo. We thought about using this weird kind of mushroom. We thought about using plastic. Here's one of my favorite examples. Those are two of my teammates. These are injection molded vacuum formed plastic tiles, which would thought we'd kind of drain the floor using a really flimsy piece of rubber on top of it so that it would be really uncomfortable and you kind of had to walk like this to get on it. But one of the key tenets of the class is to fail early and fail often. Good job, team. We failed real early on that one. And finally iterated until we came up and discovered the answer, which was right in our backyards, literally, an earthen floor. Earthen floors are a modern design trend in the US, and essentially are used not only because they're beautiful, as you can see, but because they're much, much more environmentally sustainable than cement, because cement is responsible for 5% of global carbon emissions. They're basically made of compacted sand and clay, and then sealed with what's called a drying oil. Drying oils turn to a plastic resin when they dry, so it becomes waterproof and abrasion resistant and durable. So we thought, why can't we bring this to Rwanda? There's sand there, there's clay there, let's give it a shot. So we went to the middle of a dried up lake on campus and started to play in the mud. We found that if you dig about 2 feet deep, you can get soil that's really rich in clay, and when you mix it with sand and compact it, it actually forms a really stable material and a really strong material, also very smooth on top. And then the mind-blowing part, once it dries and then you add on the drying oil, the dirt turns waterproof. It was awesome. If you don't believe me, maybe a little too waterproof. So the one challenge that we did have was that the locally available oil was not available. Linseed oil was not locally available. So what we did was then we went to another classmate of ours in the class, Rick, who was a biochemistry PhD, and he figured out how to locally manufacture an alternative to linseed oil that was not only cheaper, but also much healthier and safer. And this was super easy. It was amazing. It was how-to guides all over the internet about how to do this. It involved smearing dirt around on the ground and then using a paintbrush to paint oil onto it. We got this. So what happened next was a floor that was 20% of the cost of a cement floor. Thank you. We're selling the floor for just 20 cents per square foot. Now, when a study was just done a couple of months ago here in Rwanda that estimated that the cost of a diarrheal disease admittance into the hospital is $101. For a fraction of that amount, we can pave the entire surface of a home. That's a one-time investment that requires absolutely no behavior change on the part of the homeowner or the household members. We thought this was a no-brainer. I moved to Rwanda a little over a year and a half ago, and we have been installing floors for now over 2,000 people so far. It has been unbelievable to watch the transformation from a bumpy, dusty, bacteria-infected floor to one of these beautiful surfaces. We've gotten amazing feedback from customers saying that their kids get sick less often, that it's much easier to clean the house and to do household chores, and that they love showing off their floor to their neighbors. They're so proud of how beautiful their floor looks. We have a bold dream of impacting 10 million people by 2025. And eventually, and eventually of eliminating dirt floors completely. So, the next time you drop some food on the ground and kind of quickly dust it off and eat it again, I know you've done it, think about the billions of people for whom the 10-second rule doesn't quite apply. And think about how, with just some oil and some dirt, we can radically transform the way that billions of people live so they can live with dignity, pride, comfort, and beauty. Thank you.
She definitely deserves more. She definitely deserves more. And please, one more round of applause for all our speakers and performers today. It actually feels bad that we come to an end already.
Yes, I know already.
It feels really bad.
Yeah.
But I think this was a